All right. All right. Thank you guys for joining us for this month's Love Talk. I am so excited about what we have going on this month. This is about to be something dope for us tonight. I myself, my name is Jakita. I am one of the founders and directors of Love Beyond, which is a nonprofit, yes, um, domestic violence organization. We also have one of our other founders and directors, which is Miss Rashonda. Um, she might pop in and pop out. This is kids' bedtime, so she'll pop in and pop out. So thank you guys for joining us tonight. So, and there's another founder. Let me get her on here real quick. Hey, hey. I need to redo my background. Everybody look at Beverly background. Look at Michelle background.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, I need to do something with my background. Hey. All right. So I was telling them, I was introducing the team. And so Miss Michelle is one of our other founders and directors for Love Beyond as well. So tonight we have Miss Vet on the line and we have Miss Donna. Hey, y'all. How y'all doing? All right. So,
Hey.
so we
Hey,
have.
Vet.
I told you I was coming.
You did. You did. You thank you so much for your support. You just totally blessed me all the way from Maryland. I love you, girl.
I love you too.
Oh, wow. Come on, Marilyn.
We used to work together.
Okay, okay. All right. Miss Donna, where are you from? Yes.
I'm gonna order a hoodie too.
Okay.
I live in Huntsville.
All right, Miss Donna in Huntsville. Come on now. Hey. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and introduce our speaker for this evening. This is one of my good close friends, my good Judy. Her name is Miss Beverly Johnson. She is a health and wellness advocate. She's a motivational life coach who partners with her clients to develop strategies to diminish old habits. That's the big thing. Old habits.
Everything.
And teach them how to embrace a healthy and whole lifestyle. She is I guess, you're founder of Genesys Fitness. Yes. Um, where it also teaches you how to let go of old habits and embrace new ones. Through her teaching, the foundation and a roadmap is created to reclaim your identity. It's customized just for you. I can't be like Miss Vet. I can't be like Miss Donna. Rashonda can't be like us. And Miss McLeod, see them two, Miss McLeod and Beverly, they do Zumba. I know most definitely. I can't do none of that. Beverly, no, I'm in the back, in the slow person area. But Gen Fit is a community of women who recognize the need to reclaim their lives and are emotionally ready to do the work. She's named her new motivational fitness business Genesys Fitness because it's significant at the rebirth of the often forgotten woman, the divorce, the caretaker, and the empty nester. Gen Fit believes self-care takes priority over caring for others because it's important in caring for yourself and caring for others that you make the best caregivers. She also believes that helping women rediscover who they are after suffering a loss, she will be empowered to become her ideal self, physically, mentally, and emotionally. So at this time, I would like to introduce no other than Miss Beverly Johnson.
Thank you for the warm reception. Let me back into how I got here. And for me, it was a story of I was going through a divorce. because I finally had to admit to myself that the relationship wasn't working, that I was emotionally numb from going through the challenges day in and day out, where you're having to come to work every day and put on a brave face and pretend that everything's good. Then you're coming home every day to stress. You're coming home to frustration. And then you get up every day, you put on your cute clothes, and then you go back outside. And I decided that it was too much for me. And I remember it was in October 13, where we were furloughed. And I went home and to tell my family that, you know what, this is not working for me. And I remember I was at church. And the pastor, you know, my home pastor, he was praying for somebody on the altar. And he said something that day that struck me. He said, some of y'all cannot even hear the word of God because you are so numb and black inside that God can't even penetrate you because you are just frustrated with everything that's going on. And I remember sitting there like, is he talking to me? Because he read my mail that day. He said, some of y'all have been going through the motion for so long, you forgot what it's like to be happy. And I'm just sitting there like, he is legit talking about me. And I remember I came back, you know, with my mind made up that, you know what, it's time for me to move on. And in the course of the separation, I came home one day and my ex-husband decided that it was time for me to go. And he ambushed me and assaulted me. So I had the challenge of domestic violence, plus divorce, plus still trying to go to work in some sort of halfway functioning life. And for me, none of that worked. And I ended up having, you know, I fell apart because eventually you can only give so much of yourself till you run out of steam. And it was to the point where I couldn't even pay a $60 water bill because he was raiding the accounts. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm going to work every day, as my mama called it, my good job. And I'm having to call the utility company and say, hey, I can't pay my $62 water bill because my ex just took all the money out the account. And can I make a payment arrangement? And for me, that was the hardest thing to realize, that I'm with someone that truly does not care about the consequences of me. And when I hit that spot, it impacted how I saw myself. Because I was in a space where if the person that vowed to love me, honor me, cherish me, protect me, doesn't value me, am I even worth value? And what ends up happening is that when you stop seeing yourself as valuable, the things you do and speak over yourself will reflect that. And I remember during that time where I had friends that said that they could see me shutting down. I couldn't see it, but they could see it. And so by the time I finally came out the haze, I was my first client. So everything that I do, you know, I walk it like I talk it. I was my first client. And I had to learn to heal myself. And I had to love myself back to life. And so what it was a systematic deconstruction of everything that I'd gone through. And I gave myself permission to be happy. I remember one day I was on my first vacation. All these years of having my good job, as my mama called it, I was on my first vacation. And I remember I was in the little bike taxi and I told myself, what would your life look like if you gave yourself permission to be happy? And I said, I don't know. And I said, well, let me go find out. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? I was like, you end up happy? And that is how Genesys Fitness came into creation, because I took myself through the process of not just healing my body, but I healed my mind, I healed my spirit. And I always tell people, first and foremost, when you heal your mind, everything else falls in place. When you heal your spirit, everything else falls in place. So when people run across me now and you hear that big, loud country laugh, that is a genuine, whole laugh that is from the pits of my baby toe, because I love who I am. I love what I've become, because I surrendered myself to the process and let God put me back together again.
And see, I thank you for sharing your story. I couldn't even come off mute. But I thank you for sharing your story because I know your story. So,
Mm-hmm.
but for us to see you now, people would think that you've had the great life the whole time,
Mm-hmm.
and that a breakup didn't affect you, divorce didn't affect you. Um, can you tell us the effects of what it did to your body? Um,
I spiraled. I'll tell anyone that my divorce was the equivalent of someone cutting open a pillow and all the feathers open up and you say, catch one. And I was just like, I don't know what to do. And I remember having people ask me, what are you going to do? And I'm like, look, y'all, I'm making this up as I go. I really don't have, and I was like, I don't have a plan. Y'all, the sheriff just left my house. And because of that, I'm on the run, me and my dog, like the Underground Railroad. Because you want to find out who in your circle, you call them and tell them what happened and find out what the next sentence is going to be. It's either going to be, ooh, girl, that's messed up, or I got you, come have a place, stay over here as long as you need to. So my first priority was my safety and security. Then it was housing. Then it was everything else. Now keep in mind, I'm still going to work. I'm still going to my job. And by that point, one eyebrow up here, the other brow up here, and I'm still in me to say, I'm fine. I'm fine. What y'all talking about? I'm fine. And I was trying to hold on as hard as I could, but I couldn't. I remember I had a full just episode at work because the printer got jammed and I couldn't get my paper out. And I'm sitting there like, what the world? And that was my cue that I probably need to go see someone. And that decision saved my life because it gave me a space to take the armor off. It gave me a space to cry. Because I'll tell anyone, 2014, I dropped out the Strong Black Woman Club. Y'all can have my membership card because I realized in trying to hang on to that facade that I was okay all the time was killing me. Like, are you okay? Meanwhile, eyebrows sitting up here, wasn't sleeping right. I wasn't eating well, where my breakfast in the mornings consisted of going to MAPCO to the point where the lady knew me, getting my powdered donuts and a big thing of coffee. Why are you, ma'am? My lunch was then going to Burger King and getting a Whopper Junior, because the Whopper Juniors were little. And then the fries, and then doing other stuff. And I remember sitting there thinking, this isn't who I am. But right now, I don't know who I am. And it was a hard process. Now, keep in mind, I'm still working, I'm still teaching, and I'm arguing with someone that's telling me I'll take the washer and you take the dryer. I'm arguing with somebody that put on the separation list, he wants all the spices and utensils out the house. And I remember my mama calling me one day and she said, let it go. Because my petty patty was on full. Oh, you want this? And I was in it like, and she had to, it was literally stop. She had to teach me to pick my battles. And I love her for that, because when she saw what her baby was going through, my mama went into full mama mode, like this is what's getting ready to happen. And there were moments where I could feel myself getting weak, and I could feel her hand pushing me back, like, come on back, come on back, come on back. And I love her. I love her for that. I found out who all my aunties and my mamas were at work in my circle. So if you're going through a space where you are feeling lost, have the courage to reach out and tell somebody, because I'm thankful that I had that circle that was like, how are you really? How's your soul? How are you really? And then that's when the glasses were all crooked, the makeup running off my face, because again, I'm still working. I'm still teaching. In the midst of all that, I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to live. My supervisor took me in, so I'm living in her house, living out of suitcases, and I had a bin with my jewelry and stuff in the back of my car. So I got all this stuff going on, and I'm still trying to function. So if you are in a season, it's a season, but have the courage to throw out a lifeline and ask for somebody to cover you and love you during that space.
I know, like for me, I am so glad you said that about your mother, because everybody knows for me, I am a advocate of having someone in your corner that helps protect you and pushes you and supports you when you can't go anymore. So I appreciate your mother being that for you, because everybody can't say that their mother does that. So I appreciate that. I think,
And for me,
go ahead.
go ahead. I remember my scripture at that time was, when I thought about the centurion guard, when he was like, Lord, it's not my belief, it's my unbelief. I'm not, and I walked in that space of going, Lord, I know you can do it. I know you're going to get me to the other side. But right now, I don't really see how this is ready to work.
Right.
I don't see this. I know you said that you are going to restore me, because in your word, Joel 2:25 said you're going to do that. But right now, I don't see it. So Lord, help my unbelief, because I know your promises can't return void. But today, I don't know.
You can go ahead, Ms. Vet. You gotta come off of mute.
Okay. I definitely know where you're coming from with that going to work. If it would not have been for Michelle, I would have broken down many of days. And Michelle, you can testify to that. Michelle? Did she leave us?
Absolutely not. I'm right here. Yes.
Yes.
God
I mean, many of days, she had to take me in the bathroom, hold me, and pray with me. I would have been lost without you. And when you left to go back to Alabama, I thank God every day that I bumped my head, because I wouldn't have known how to deal with you leaving me.
Oh my God. Yeah. Jesus. You're so right.
I'm very emotional right now. It's very hard for you to, knowing what I was going through, and I'm still going through it, but thank God this is the last week for it.
Amen.
I'm asking God for nothing but healing. I'm ready to heal.
Yes. It's time. It's time. It's time. It's time. It's time. It's time. And you had to get to that place. You had to get to that space.
Yes.
Like the Donnie McClurkin saying, after you've done all you can, you just stand. And that's when you really do everything that you can in your power and your might to rely on God. And I like what Beverly said when she said her unbelief. That really spoke volumes to me, because we do believe certain things. But it's hard when it's hard for us to see our way, or to see where we believe, where we have to trust God, where we can't trace him, where we have never been before, something that is foreign to us, a situation that is scary and frightening, where you don't have nobody literally to depend on but God. It is vital that we just dig deep and just pray. That was awesome, to ask God to help my unbelief. I don't see it right now, Lord God, but help me believe, so that I know without a shadow of a doubt,
Yes.
what you said is true, and that you're not going to leave me nor forsake me. And we're doing that. You know, you're doing that every week. You're staying in the word, you're staying connected, you're building up your faith, you're building up your spirit, man, so that you can be edified and strengthened and girded up, you know, for this journey.
Yes.
And I want you to know that you are not alone. You got an army right here with you, standing with you. That's why Love Beyond exists. We have, you know, resources, whatever we got to do, God's going to help us get it accomplished. So you're not by yourself. So don't feel like you're by yourself.
Yes.
You know, you're with your sisters, and you're in a safe place. You're in a safe space. And so, you know, thank you for sharing, you know, your testimony, and even how you're speaking of it. Even now, you're in the thick of it. You know, you're not out, you're in the thick of it. And so that's a scary place to where you're making those steps to get out of situations that you know no longer serve you good. And it's hard because, you know, you still love the person and you still want what's best, and you still want things to be a certain way, but when you know that it's no longer going to be that way, and you had to make a decision. And so once you made that decision, doesn't mean that it's going to be you made it. No, you still going to go through the process. But you need to know that as you're going through this process, that Love Beyond is right here with you. We're right here with you.
And I'm right where I need to be right now. Thank you, and I love you.
We love you too. Thank you so much for being on this Zoom call.
Yes.
So Beverly, question. So my bad habits is Wendy's invented these potatoes for breakfast. And them potatoes, you know, they the devil. Now, what I supposed to do with these here potatoes? Because I do notice that, like, if I'm, you know, stressed, I stress eat. I'm a big stress eater. And so, you know, COVID done took over, and, you know, I'm in nursing and hospice. It's bad right now. So I'm literally stress eating bad.
Well, I will say you are right in good company with a lot of people, because this pandemic has wrecked everyone's emotional wellness. And when I say wrecked, it has thrown everyone in a tailspin. And I will, you know, I was on another call the other week, and I told someone, I said, I would rather in this space for that to be your mechanism for safety, as opposed to you becoming an ancestor, because this is real. So the challenge becomes that once you recognize that you are in a space where your emotions are running high, if you're able, take a step back and practice a few minutes of solitude and get your mind and emotions back under place. Because if you're recognizing, because I had to recognize that, first of all, let me say, I had a love affair with Sister Schubert's rolls. I don't know what they put in them Sister Schubert's rolls, but baby, Sister Schubert was my life. But I noticed that it was a part of comfort, that if I got off the phone call with someone and my emotions ran high, my thing was to go either Sister Schubert or something else. It was me looking for that relief, you know, because they call it comfort food for a reason, because once you have that food, you feel that, So I had to step back and go, okay, arrest the emotion and sit in the uncomfortable feeling of having to address it. And I had to, when I started feeling myself being stressed, like, okay, stop. What's going on? I'm stressed. Okay, what's the stress coming from? The stress is coming from, I hate my coworkers. Okay, you can't do nothing about that because you're going to catch a case. So what's my other alternative? My other alternative is, let me figure out how to engage with this coworker, either minimize my interaction or have the hard conversation like, look, you know my nerve and I need this job because I ain't got no insurance. So we're gonna have to figure out how we gonna get along, because I can't be at my job going, I can't do that. Because see, I did that one time in the meet, and so I had to learn how to address what's going on. And sometimes the ugly of it is I'm just having a bad day and I'm in my feelings. I don't know what I'm working on internal, but I need to step away and work on me. And so part of it is realizing that I will say, if you want the potatoes once a week, treat yourself once a week. But y'all can't be in a relationship every day. Once a week, that could be your cheat meal. But the rest of it is recognizing that I know I can do better, and let me put the steps in to figure out what's going on underneath the layers. And that is the hardest part, because that requires you to be honest with you. And that's when you realize that your poo really does stink. And that's like, ooh, some of this is on me. And let me figure out what. So I had to learn to replace the negative coping mechanisms with positive coping mechanisms. And that is something that takes time. That's not something that you're going to accomplish the first week. Like, oh, I got this, I'm ready. Because the first storm that comes, if you're not rooted and that foundation isn't set, it's still going to take you back and forth. So it is a process of realizing, no, I am going to get the oatmeal as opposed to the potatoes. It's a process, girl.
It is a process. I'm going to tell you that. I'm going to start tomorrow because I ate my potatoes this morning. So, so, uh, so we want to. It's the first of the year, and what do we do at the first of the year? We say we're gonna lose weight, write these resolutions, and I got it, y'all, today. Resolutions, and we are going to, get what is it? Get 5 for 99 or whatever. Tell us some steps that we can take, especially like you know, small steps. I don't want to go out there and jump into it because I know I'm not going to stick with it. But do you have any small steps that we can take to align us up in the right path?
I will say, like you said, I like how you alluded to start slow, because that's the biggest downfall I've seen many people do, where they put on their vision board, I'm losing 20 pounds in January. And I'm like, on what? What you taking? Because that, But I encourage you to say, for my first month, if you haven't been on your, this is your real, hadn't been on a fitness journey, started with, I haven't been drinking water. Start with drinking. If you haven't drank water, start with drinking water. And say, because one thing I do, I drink at a minimum 4 bottles a day. So I put my 4 bottles out every day. So when I finish one, I grab the other one. I can't do the gallon because the gallon jug just frustrates me, because I'm sitting all day like, that's a lot of water.
Yes.
So so if you know that's going to be counterproductive for you to sit there and see that gallon jug sitting there every day, don't do that to yourself. But put in your mind that, what, I can do the bottle of water. And before you know it, you will reach your goals. If you haven't started working out before and you don't know where your sweet spot is, it's going to take trial and error for you to find the thing that you like, because everybody has a thing. So you're going to have to give you're going to have to give yourself permission to try and fail. So there's certain things that the Peloton and the cycling may not be your thing. That's fine. So don't force it upon yourself if you don't like it. So it may be one of those that, YouTube has a bunch of different videos. And one that I know, if you haven't worked out before, the walking workouts with Leslie Sanzone, I think that's her name. If you have never worked out before, that is a great program to start to get you in the habit of working out. So again, give yourself permission to try and fail, because I'll tell anyone there are certain workouts that I love. You know, it's Donna tell you that I love burpees. I mean, I don't like, but I understand that to get the benefit, I got to go through. But if you tell me to go take a cycling class, I will tell you my mama calling me, the dog in here frying chicken. I'm going to come up with any and every reason not to go spinning. But if you say, let's take a body combat class, you're like, you mean the one that I get to fight? Yeah, let me go do that one. So it's going to come down to the baby steps. Starting to drink more water. Starting an exercise program at a minimum of 30 minutes a day. If you don't have the 30 minutes in one lump, break it up into 3 10-minute intervals. But more than anything, get up and try. Because I'll always say that if we have sat here and watched Bridgerton, you can set aside 30 minutes for yourself. And it comes down to what made the difference for me was that when I made up my mind that part of loving myself included taking care of myself. Well, we all say that we're purpose for the kingdom, that we have been chosen and God has an assignment for us. And I had to put in the realization that if I'm going to run the race he's called me to, I have to be ready for battle. And part of it when I was in the military was that they tell you that you train as you fight. So when the battle comes, you don't just become ready for it. So if God is calling me to do certain things, I have to be mentally and physically prepared to go into the war zone. And that includes recognizing that I need spiritual care, mental care, and physical care. And when you start looking at, you know what, I've been called to something, I've been allowed to do certain things, then it becomes easy to say, let me turn this stuff off and go do something for myself. Because that's what self-care looks like. Recognizing that you're worth the effort.
I love that you said in the beginning that you have to try and fail. Mm-hmm. Because for a lot of people, they try, they fail, and they stop. Mm-hmm. But it's so important that you have to try again. That what's the saying? Try again. Mm-hmm. A lot of us forget that because we, in a situation like we've been in, you've already been defeated. And so for you to say you still got to try again, you may fail. It's encouraging to know that, although it may look a little bleak right now, it still can work out for you. Don't give up. And like you put it in small steps. I can do small steps. I can do that. I can do that better than I can do this vision board and this board sitting over here. And it look real clustered right now. But when I break it down, it makes it a whole lot better for me. I can take it in small portions. That gallon jug, I done bought 3 of them things, y'all. And y'all are more than welcome to have them. They sitting over there collecting dust in the kitchen. But I cannot do it. It is overwhelming to me. But what I can do is the bottled water, like you said. I could do those. I can do that. That seems a lot better to me. So I appreciate you, breaking that down for me.
Well, one thing I learned is that if you are dealing with anxiety, big changes will make you feel overwhelmed. And so if you're dealing with anxiety or other underlying disorders, any type of change that takes you out of your comfort zone will feel huge. So if you go in a place, okay, what you need to do is you need to go to Whole Foods, to Sprouts, and you need to get a whole new grocery list. You need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. You're gonna sit there like, yeah, I ain't doing none of that. So that's why I encourage people that if you haven't moved before, let's get you started moving. And then the process takes care of yourself. And I love that, we're doing this because when we scheduled this, it didn't even dawn on me that it was MLK Day. And one of my favorite quotes of his is that You take the first step, and then the staircase will light itself along the way. But you have to have the courage to take the first step. And all the stuff that you've been worrying about normally doesn't happen. When I tell you that, I learned from experience to start and give yourself permission to fail, because I took a yoga class. And I'm in the class, and don't nobody else look like me in the yoga class. So everybody's there poised, they're together. And I went into a pose and I fell out of it. And I just didn't fall, but I rolled across the floor. And I'm in the room on my back. And the instructor goes, baby, it's okay. It's okay. And she said something that gave me joy. She said, because we've all done it. So if you fail the first time, you are in good company, because we've all done it. But what will make the difference is getting back up. And so what I did is I got back up and I got back in the position. Getting back up is where you find your victory.
That is good. So let me ask you, my question to you is the statement that you made at the very beginning, where you said that you had to give yourself permission to be happy. Mm-hmm. How did you come to that concept that it was necessary to give yourself permission to be happy?
It came from letting go of what everybody told me I was supposed to be. Letting go of the expectations of mama them, auntie them, Poochie and them. And I realized one day that I asked myself, was I chasing the opinions of people, or was I chasing the purpose that God has for me? Because when you're chasing people, you're only going to go as far as people let you go. Mm-hmm. But when you're chasing purpose, the sky is the limit. And so when I put in my mind, it was like, God, I'm available. What is it that you want me to do? And when you surrender yourself to the purpose of what God has for you to do, it's going to look real crazy to everybody else. And you just have to almost say, trust me. Yeah, I don't know what's happening myself, but just trust me when I tell you that when God says, do this, I went right with it. And when I say give yourself permission to be happy, let go of what you think you're supposed to be. Well, I did this. Well, if I mess up, what they gonna say about me? What they gonna say about me? Because they will stifle you more than anybody else. And I love that, one of the greatest things, the most freeing thing going through my divorce was that the facade was gone. The facade of the togetherness and everything else was eliminated. And I remember my goal was to move. I was like, Lord, I don't care where you send me. Timbuktu, don't matter. Just get me out of Huntsville. I don't care. And true to form, I could not find a job to save my life. In my field, there was no job in the U.S. And I was like, there's always a job in the U.S. in my position. And I remember I was sitting in the car and God spoke to me and said, no, them same people that have cheered your downfall, they're going to be confounded by your coming, your comeback. So I want them to see what happens when I put you back together again. And I was like, He said, you know what? I want you to hear them speak. I want you to hear them knock you down. I want you to hear what your friends have been saying about you behind your back. So when you see all this, you can let it all go. So at that point, I didn't have anything to lose because I lost it all. I had to leave my house. I was living in a 1-bedroom apartment. Through the divorce, I had, I was like, I don't have nothing to lose. So at this point, since I'm putting my life back together again, I'm going to put it back together the way I want it and the way God wants it to be. And that included being happy. So opinions so I'm in a space where there's nothing you can say about me that I don't know about me. Be like, I heard, girl, I'll tell you, you ain't got to hear about nobody. I'm my own ambassador about my life. If you gonna tell my story, let me equip you with the facts so you can go speak on it correctly. But I heard, so here's some clip notes. So for me, it was the most liberating thing because I don't have the facade of pretending I have it all together, because I didn't, and I don't. What you see is someone that was totally recreated in love, in forgiveness, and second chances. Because I'm a product of God's second chances. And that's when I say, give yourself permission to be happy, to fail, to smile, to love again. So if anything that I experience that goes wrong, I sit and go, okay, well, what did you learn from that? Okay, well, it wasn't all bad. What can you give to others? Okay, so you have this thing to give to others. Because I feel that my experiences prepared me for Genesys Fitness. I am a firm believer that he took me on a crash course in life so I can love others back to life.
That's good. That's real good.
Yes.
That is awesome. So that just goes right in line, like with the subject of, rediscovering yourself. And that's how you discover who you are, by being a willing vessel to go through the process, to trust the process that God has designed for you. That when he said, I have a plan and a purpose for your life, to trust that process, and in that process, discovering who he has predestined for you to be. So that's vital. That's vital. That is so vital. I love it. That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for sharing. And thank you for your input. I wish there had been a Love Beyond when I was going through this in 2013. I wish there were people that was like, girl, we've been through this. Come on, because there were times where I felt so alone. And there were so many times where I wish there were, I wanted someone to say, I've been here. And this is what the other side looks like. I wish I had that, because it would have given me something to hang on, because there were spaces where I'm like, I think I'm doing this right. I don't know. So this is much needed for women.
Well, thank you. We appreciate
it. So matters too, especially I'll say this, within our community, because you don't see it a lot in our community, because we're taught, from the beginning, from birth, well, go on in the house, stay in the house, and so we're conditioned not to share, hard times or hard moments, and other races will put their stuff out there. And so when you look for those resources that you need, a lot of times in this, I found I didn't see a lot of people that look like me. And so because when you don't see that representation, you're kind of hesitant about maybe, that you're an anomaly, maybe it's just you, or, you kind of, they don't have that sort of relatability or cultural thing to really kind of understand. And so I think that how God just led Chiquita, to just push this path forward that God has given her is just phenomenal. So I'm thankful for Love Beyond too. And I know that it's just the beginning. So many lives are being touched. And I'll even say this, because we have a lot of, there's an audience out there that really watches. They may not say anything, but those seeds are really being planted and being planted and being planted. And that's really making a difference. So thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Because I remember I was at work one day, and this lady came in, my coworker, she came in and closed the door. She was like, well, I heard you going through the divorce. I said, yeah, what you want? Well, one of my church members, her husband's bipolar, get out of my office and close the door with you. I'm not talking to you. Right. Because, they make it work because he bipolar, girl, bye. And close the door on your way out. Because I had to tell her, I was like, you know what? I said, I'm not marginalizing mental illness because it's a real thing. And I said, and if he recognizes that he needs his medication, that's their relationship. I said, but were you in the conference room when I just told you that this man showed up and tried to kill me? I said, there's certain things you don't come back from. Well, you know, maybe if you walk out and leave me alone. Because she put in her mind that, you know, well, you know, in the church, I said, stop. Because I was like, if you are I said, flip it this way. If you came home and your husband ambushed you and tried to shoot you in your face, would you stay?
Hello?
Well, I'm sure. Okay, that's your answer. So go on.
Right. You're not the one.
Because it was one of those that sometimes people are quick to give you advice about your situation.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one of those that I don't have, I had to tell a friend of mine, she was like, girl, what do you think I should do about my life? I said, I don't have to live with the consequences.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to do what's in the best, and that's going to bring you peace. That's going to allow you to function and make it through in this world. Because we all have limitations. We all can only go so far in loving people, being around them. And in him, I found my bottom when he took all the money out the bank account. And then I was getting phone calls. He was getting phone calls in the middle of the night. And I'm like, who are you? Well, I'm trying to find a ride. And I was like, sweetie, you can call here 4 nights every night at 2:00 in the morning. I don't know if you know this or not, that this is not his phone plan. This is my phone plan. Wow. And if you gonna do this, the least you could do is go get you a track wireless phone, so I won't see the phone calls come up on the bill. But that's the least. That show you how lost you are, because you cheating on my phone. You cheating on my phone. That's a good one.
Yeah, I've
been there.
On my phone too. That's a good
one. Been there, yes.
And I remember one day we were in the heart of an argument on my cell phone. I'm on my work phone like, yeah, I need you to cut the line that ends in 7512. Yeah, that one. Yeah, I need you to cut that. What'd you say? Oh, okay. You talking smack? Yeah, go ahead, cut that. Oh, within 30 minutes. I appreciate y'all so much. You know what, sir? I'm not doing this with you today. You have a great day. And he tried to call me back, and his phone was cut off. It just so happened I went to Walmart, and he was coming in, and I was going, you ain't have to cut my phone off. I was like, you thought I was going to let you cuss me out on what I'm paying for?
That I'm paying for.
Who do that? Who doing that? I was like, since you said people from Mobile, Alabama were crazy, I got your crazy. Since you said we were crazy, I got your crazy. And so everywhere he went, I had called and cut off things along the way. Sir, your account was canceled. And so I was like, since you're trying to play checkers, I'm going to show you how chess moves happen. So I thank God for women in front of me. And so it was like, okay, I know you're going to do this. So I had already gone ahead of him. So what I ended up doing, I was like, I'm not arguing with you. I'm getting ready to show you better that I can tell you that I'm not tolerating this treatment. And I think for him, it was, where did this come from? Yeah. All these years, you've been pretty much, so all of a sudden you setting boundaries and you said hard lies. And I think it shocked him, because that jolted me into a space of, let me take these blinders off, because I'm better. I know I'm worth more than this. Yeah. And it was something about him cussing me out on my cell phone. I'm like, I added you to my plan. And I was like,
yeah, that's
and
good.
We went to court, and he told his attorney, because his attorney called my attorney, Miss Johnson cut the phone line off. I was like, I sure did. This is my phone line.
Exactly.
And I'm like, what? And again, I'm going to work every day. This is every day. Eyebrows now sitting up here because I'm in the gas spot. I think they were like, it was just all crooked at that point. And so I thank God for his grace,
Yes.
in keeping me, because I look back on it and I'm just amazed that I didn't lose my mind. Because I look back on it, I'm like, Lord, how was I not in the psych ward?
Or go to jail.
Huh?
Or go to jail.
Yeah. You know, I was like, I got the asthma. I can't be in nobody's jail. I got asthma. I can't. I got asthma. I know my limitations. I was like, because then I already put in my mind that, okay, you get sent to jail. You're going to probably work in a library, or you're going to have good computer skills because you know you're good with that. And then probably along the way, you're going to get in good with the kingpin. And I would be like the assistant to the kingpin in the prison. I would be number 2 running things. So I was like, because I'd already figured out I was going to be the mastermind in prison. I was going to be the one with the cute little uniform, buttoned up, working in the library, being the mastermind because I know how I operate. I would have had everybody with computer skills. Everybody had resumes in prison. We'd been on forums, you know, They would have released me because they were like, you doing the most.
We used to be bad.
Like, get out. Go on.
Yeah.
Be like, y'all, we ain't got to riot. We need to protest. We need to, because the rule book said we protest. So what we gonna do? We gonna arrange a protest, and they're strengthening them so that way they can't beat us. They gonna beat you because you big, but they gonna beat me because I wear glasses. So, so I knew my strategy had. So I was like, I thank God that I didn't lose my mind.
Yeah.
So that's what I know. I had a praying mama, and I had a praying circle of friends, because I'm just like, how in the world did you not lose it? And then to have, you know, my brother, he was like, look, I have friends that's institutionalized. Just say the word and they'll be up there. All they need is a pack of Newports and some chicken. And I was like,
not chicken. Not chicken.
And I was like, no, we're not going that route. I said, because that's what he expects. What he doesn't expect is someone, I said, my triumph will be to glow and soar. And it wasn't an easy path, but it is one that is doable.
Ooh, honey, this has been good. I don't know about nobody else, but this has been really good. Good. So, does anybody have any questions? I see Miss Vet done came off, honey. She done took her robe off. She done got comfortable, honey. What is it, girl? What's going on?
I just like when she said, Beverly, I like when you said, heal the spirit and everything else will follow. I'm waiting for that moment. I'm committed to healing. I really am committed. And with me healing, I have to heal my 11-year-old because she's been right here with me.
And it's a process. I had to learn that there's not a time limit to it. Because I remember 6 months after my divorce, people were like, you know, you just started dating. I was like, girl, bye. I was like, I hadn't figured this out. Let me sort through the sadness. Let me sort through the grief, because anytime a relationship ends, there is grief. There is sadness, that good or bad, you were aligned with this person for however long. So you're grieving the end of relationship, not just with that person, but with family members, mutual friends. It's a whole process that comes with disconnecting everything.
Yes.
Because I remember one day I ran into him and he was just like, you ever thought about us getting back together? I was like, that's like saying, have you thought about jumping in front of that semi? No. And crossed my mind, not one day. Not one time.
Oh.
But it doesn't mean that going through that process, I didn't love him. Because there were still things in the relationship that he did well for me. where I can't take away from the fact that when I was really sick, he was there and he cared for me. I can't take away from the fact that, you know, he spoiled me because he was the cook. I didn't cook. I just came in and washed dishes. So there were certain things that he did well, and there are certain things I can't take away from him. But it was the other stuff that outweighed that. And that is sometimes hard to explain to people. They were like, well, he didn't seem that bad. Well, yeah, because we showed you what we wanted you to see.
Exactly.
But he would come in and he would tell everybody, yeah, for our anniversary, I put carrots on her finger, and he did. My ring finger was heavy. Trust and believe that. It was heavy. But it didn't replace the fact that I was sad every day. It didn't replace the fact that I was so emotionally numb that I would sleep away the weekend. And the phone calls that were happening and the money disappearing and him disappearing for hours at night. I couldn't do. And I had to ask myself, is your happiness worth this ring that he just gave you?
No.
And at the end of it, it wasn't, because I sold the ring because I needed it. And so I was like, thank you.
Hello.
So it's going to be a process for your healing. You're going to have powerful days and you're going to have bad days. So it's one of those that when the bad days hit, let them hit.
Okay.
Cry it out. And then the next day you'll just be like, I'm back. So it's a whole process. You're going to grieve. You're going to feel power. Grieve, power. And it's part of the healing. Because it's just like when you have a surgery and the surgeon tells you that before it gets well, it's going to look worse. That's what your emotional healing is going to look like. Before it gets to the good stuff, you're going to have to get the bad out. And whatever you do, I had to learn, do not allow shame and self-defeat to take over.
That's good.
And don't go on Black People Meet. Okay.
Or Tinder. Let's not do Tinder.
So they got Facebook hook up or whatever they got now.
Or Plenty of Fish.
Oh Lord, no. We're not doing them. Listen, this has been amazing. I hope everybody enjoyed. I hope they got something out of this. I know I did. I got a lot out of this. This has been really, really good.
Yes.
So Beverly, we absolutely thank you. I actually put your website link in the thing. It kept doing different things because I copied and pasted. So yeah, so thank you for dropping your Facebook in there. Y'all go search her out on Facebook. The name of her group, is called Fitness Divas. She has some great stuff that she puts out there. She has recipes, different little workouts that you can do, small things that you can do at home because we're gonna still be safe. So she's very she's one that makes sure that you do those things. So we appreciate you for coming out and sharing with us. This has been really, really good. So thank you again.
Awesome. Thank you, Beverly.
I hope you guys had an amazing night. Anybody has anything else before we leave?
Did you say that was Business Divas? Fitness Divas. Oh, I'm hearing things. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Fitness Divas.
And the beauty of it is that I was at a luncheon Saturday, and one of the ladies, she was like, she didn't even know what was in my vision board for the group. She was like, we just purchased some land, and I would like to know, would your group be interested to come hiking in the spring and summer? I was like, oh, we sure will.
I'm coming for that. I like hiking.
So we're going outside this year. So probably she said the best times will be April and May. So we are going hiking. And my cousin is a travel agent. And once all the COVID stuff blows over, she's putting together a fitness retreat packet for me.
Okay.
Girl, let me
So
come
we
on
can,
back to
we can
Huntsville.
I was like, payment plan. She was like, payment plan. I was like, okay.
Yes.
Yes. I love it.
So I was like, yes, ma'am, we are going.
I love it. I love that. That's what's up. Yes. Are you still doing your classes on Saturday?
Right now we just started Monday and Wednesday. And that's where I was before this. So I had to jump out of the, from here on up, I look amazing.
Yeah.
Down, it's a situation at the bottom, but here on up, I look great. We started the New Year kickoff, where Monday and Wednesday at 5:30 my time Central, we're having class. And I'm also working with another local business where we're going to resume Saturday classes at her organization. So it's going to be where you have an opportunity to see me not just virtually, but in person. But I thank God for this virtual platform because I've been able to reach people from Maryland to Texas. And I'm so thankful for the opportunity.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. So Miss Donna and Miss Donna, I know you're on are you on our page? On Love Beyond page? I know Miss Vet is.
I believe I am.
I think I've seen your name before. So we'll post all Miss Beverly's information on the Love Beyond page. So y'all can make sure that you follow her. I think Miss Donna, you know Beverly, so
Oh yeah.
yeah, we'll make sure that everybody has her information. And make sure that we go from there. It's been great. So before we get off. All right, so before we get off, don't forget, if you have not purchased your book, Ms. Vet showed her book. Book is still what, $20? It's $20. Go get your book. We only have a few copies left. So please get your book. Because guess what? That book was 2020. We have something else coming out for 2021. So you want to be prepared for what we have going on. So don't forget to get your book. All right. So we also have shirts. We have a flash sale going on shirts. T-shirts are $10 and the long sleeves are $20. So don't forget to order your shirts, T-shirts, pins, everything. So don't forget to check out our website. Ms. Rashonda, would you drop the website? And we're just gonna have fun this year. It's a lot of stuff that we have in store. So we want everybody to be invited. So if you join our website, make sure you sign up so that you'll get the notifications. God is blessing. He is in a blessing business, and we got some good stuff happening. We want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to change their life after anything that tried to destroy them. So we're trying to show you and get you prepared to find your love beyond the pain, the hurt, the abuse, the everything. We're trying to line you back up. All right. So thank you, Miss Beverly. This was amazing. Amazing.
Thank you. I had a ball. Y'all, this is Zoe.
Hey, Zoe.
Decided to join, and I guess she needed empowerment too. So this is Zoe. So
it's
thank
for everybody.
you. It's for everybody.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for having me. I had a ball, y'all.
Yes. Thank you. And so we do this every month. Watch out for the flyer for February. And I try to go with the themes of the month. So February is Love Month. So get ready for us to talk about some love issues and love, how to get your love going. But I love you guys. Anybody, any of the founders, y'all got anything to say before we jump off?
I just want to say I saw a friend of mine, Cynthia Miller, popped on. I just want to say, hey, Cynthia, thank you so much for taking a moment. If you're still there with us to join in, thank you so much. That was it.
All right. Shonda, you got anything?
Well, I'll say this before we get off for the night, but right before we got on, my little sister called me, my blood sister. And she was like, hey sis, I read the book, and I was like, you did what? Now I forgot that we had ordered her a copy. You know, these kids drive me cuckoo. But anyway, so she's like, I read it. I read your story. I know which one's yours. I know whose is who. I was like, okay, great. And she said, I read the entire thing. She said, I'm so proud of you. So know that, ladies, our work is not in vain. And I encourage us to keep moving forward because God has some great things for us.
Yes.
Awesome.
Most definitely. All right, y'all. Y'all take your time, be safe, stay positive, enjoy the rest of your day. Happy birthday, Martin Luther King Jr. We celebrate you on today. But yeah, nothing that we do is in vain. We have a voice and we will use it. Okay. All right. We love you.
Absolutely.
Bye-bye.
Good night, y'all.